Right now we should be charging them for using His Majesty name in vain.
Oh.
Because they're using His Majesty name, they call him Rastafari, but they are not doing nothing to help build the nation. That is why now the government watch us like we're the stalkers, staying and talking and singing. We pass those stages. Rastaman good at putting on show. Right now those days are over. We cannot afford to have no more show. You understand? You putting on a show is to raise 100,000 to come home. But none of them are not doing that. All the money they're raising is to put in their pocket. Thousands of Rastaman there in Jamaica. Where are they? They're on the plantation island singing song and on the beach and smoking ganja. But when it comes to the reality of life, nation building, the generation is nowhere to be found. So that is in your mind consciousness that we have to try to input within the youth there. It's not a talk. His Majesty was a whirlwind of activity. If you're healing His Majesty, then you have to have practical works to demonstrate His Majesty's liberty. So you have to come home and with an idea that really we can develop something, because His Majesty teaches is cooperative economics. If you put your monies together, then everything is possible. So much years we sing in the reggae artists and they make millions for singing about His Majesty and Africa.
So how much of that has been invested in repatriation, and how much
of the artists have repatriation? There is not one Rasta man besides one of Bob Marley's children. I'm not too sure. Roman, one of them, come around here off and on. I think he have a little coffee program with some people in the Sidamo region. Rowan is maybe the only one. Because there is nothing of a practical sense. You have to come home. Here in Africa, there's a lot of land. Come with a business mind, like, you know, like a mature thinking, you understand? Because you call it His Majesty's name. His Majesty was a nation builder. You must have Rasta, we don't have no 5-year development program. His Majesty had 5-year development program based on which he developed the nation. As Rasta man, we preaching repatriation almost 100 years, but there is no plan. There is no repatriation plan, no idea of here when we come home, how we go survive, what is necessary, what we need. We're still depending on handouts, praying for the same devil who put us in slavery to give you back money. That is a total illusion, not that devil. He wants to put you back in slavery. Because that's what they're doing on the African continent now. They're recolonizing all the African leaders is a set of sellout. You understand? No one is defending the Africa. It's I and I who have to come home and defend those things. All of them singing song, but none of them do practical. They will come here and they'll put on a show. And they're gone. But none of them do saying, well, yeah, let 3 of us come together and put on 1 or 2 shows in Africa. The money we're going to use it to invest in something. No, they fly. Before they reach the manager calling them, they're too busy to even sit down with me and talk.
Wow.
And they gone.
And that's why we want to share this energy about repatriation.
Yeah, they gone.
And repatriation
this
energy
is more important now than ever before. Because I tell you, like even in South Africa, the white man them still control everything. Because we're not coming home. But the white man no fool. He might come because he know what benefit there is. The Turkish are come, the Japanese are come, the Chinese are take over everything. If 5-6 Rastaman come together, you need to have 200,000 US to become an investor.
Hey.
Yeah. But if 6 or 10 people put their money together, 10,000, you get an investor. When you need an investor, it means that you can get land. You can get access to 500 hectares of land or whatever. You can start a program that will generate wealth, set a foundation, create employment, and all who coming home will know what they're fitting into. The problem why a lot of people haven't come home is because what you're coming home to, there is no more land. When you come here, you have to buy land at some astronomical price right now because everybody turn real estate agent. You understand? But if you come home with a collective, with an intention, cooperative economics, and you come and you get land, you buy a Isuzu, you buy a tractor, and you start producing, within 3 years you can be totally self-sufficient and strictly be generating profit that you can initiate agro-industries, criteria, then you can go to any part of Ethiopia and apply for land. And get land for development. You can get duty-free concession. You can bring in Isuzu and a tractor. Tractors are being made in Ethiopia now. You can get those things. And once you set up a farming program, set up it a residential and storage area, you can make it, but you have to have a practical, logical, and feasible plan. You cannot say we're just coming home and you don't know how you're going to survive. That is why nobody's not coming. Because when they come home, where are they going to survive? There is no more land. All the land is now occupied by the local inhabitants. So how are the people going to survive? You don't have no economy. You come from the West, you struggled all your years. So we must have a definite economic foundation that we're coming home to. So you take a little time to strategize and plan, like how His Majesty used to do. His Majesty used to have 5-year development plan, feasible studies, capital set aside, and practical idea of what you're going to do. I have projects written up for much years, sent out to Rastaman all over the world, trying to induce them. It's time to stop talking and come put some money together, come home. So it's the mindset we have to get serious when we're talking about Africa and what Africa needs now. We need man. Man who, King David said, gird your loins. Man who ready to gird your loins and come home and face the fire. And then there's great potential. Great potential here. Once you come home with a pure heart and clean mind and a focus, you can't allow yourself, this is the 20%. You can't come home and when you come home, you making a pretty face and then fool you and you just running the girls. And those days, we're supposed to long bury that. We're big people now. When you come home, you have to have a mature mind. You know, you don't come to play. Ethiopia is a religious country. You know, the people them are very culturally based. You can't come home and same thing encouraging young women and playing around with them and just giving them money. You have to more empower the young sisters them to get involved. Come here, come set up some textile. Right now the Turkish have the textile industry them and the Japanese and the Chinese. And where's the Rasta man? You know, what are we doing? So these are the things we have to think. Like in Jamaica, millions of Rasta man. I'm here 25 years. Where They said 1 or 2 elders before, the elders dead and gone. Since that time, no other man haven't come around. No young man if say anybody, I come home. Nobody. The government play their little games. You know, they've been promising to legalize us for the last 25 years, but up to now they not do it. They go the other day, they go down to Jamaica, make a big propaganda, say, yeah, they're going to legalize us because the Foreign Affairs Minister wanted to become the head of the World Health Organization. But since he gets his job, it's 3 months we submit our application, but we yet to hear any word. Yeah. And they do you some dread things here. If you stay here more than 3-4 years illegal, if you want to leave the country, sometimes you have to pay them $100,000 to leave the country. They charge you $20 a day. They don't regard you as a fellow African, all they want is money. Yeah. So these are the things that we still have to balance out because they don't treat us as returning Africans with a right to return. They call you illegal, and as a fellow African, if you stay here 4 years and you want to leave the country, they'll be asking you $140,000 to pay for you to leave the country. You know, it's those kind of insanity still exists. So, you know, it's limits and barriers we still have to break down, you know, bring it to the attention of the world and make them know Africa must have a policy. We are, according to the law, we are diaspora, is the 6th region of the African Union, but there's no continental policy to deal with I as returning Africans. There is no land set aside or no policy set aside to facilitate our return, give us access to capital, because here in Ethiopia, the development bank has given investors million. If you could come with 3 million, they give you 1 million. The other day, Heineken beer, the biggest beer company in the world, get $1 billion loan from the development bank to develop a beer factory. But for I who come in home as returning Africa, we cannot access those capital there. So these are the things. So we just have to deal with the level of consciousness that presently exists. True, they are not willing to participate. 10 or 15 people, you form a company and everybody become directors, and then you invest some money, you meet the criteria, which is, so that is the reality that we're dealing with. So we still have to battle on. I can't give up. I have to fight on. Selassie still.